Okay, I want you guys all to know that good evening, and we are actually recording this tonight. So if you don't want to be on camera or recorded and seen on the website, please just get your picture out of there. And we have a meeting chat on the side for housekeeping. I just wanted to say, if you have questions that come up along as we're giving the presentation initially, feel free to put in the chat any questions that you have, and we'll field them after I'm through with going through with the whole project. Okay, my Zoom is being a little bit persnickety. There you go. So, so here we go. Yeah, so welcome to the 2024 New Plants for the Bird Buzz Native Plant Sale. And we're so glad to have you here. And we'd like to, sorry about that. We'd like to also, we're going to thank the Spirited Gardener, who the company has provided some assistance to be able to get these, to support the Bird Buzz sale going forward. And yeah. So why native plants? Here you go. Look at that pollen on that bee. Is that an amazing? That's such an amazing picture. I just love it.
See all the
Yeah.
pollen on the bee. Right.
Yeah, that's just awesome. So, that's a pollinator. But also a lot of the insects that come to these plants are also seeking nectar, or they use the plants as a host plant. And so making sure that we have these plants available for them is really wonderful. So now we're gonna start moving forward. So there's a little lag time with my moving forward sometimes. Oh, yeah.
Julia, come in now.
Hello. Okay.
Julia's got issues.
Oh boy, do I have issues. Can I tell you about my issues?
No.
Anyways, it's exciting about the new plant. Now it's going to go forward about 25 slides all at once. There we go. Okay. So what we're looking at here is that the native plants support the bottom of the food chain, allowing for predatory species to feed. And so not only are they a home, or as we say, a host plant for many different insects, whether they be beetles or butterflies, they also support bees who like to have their colonies. The bumblebees, native bumblebees, like to put their homes in the root systems of different plants. And so we're really doing nature a great favor when we start to plant these
little beetles. Maybe that's a good thing too.
No.
Bloody Mary. Come on.
She just went back to the beginning now.
All right, there you go. And now here we go. So here's a perfect example of supporting life underground. We were working in a project last year, and we were unfortunately this client wanted the native woodland knotweed out of a certain part of their garden. So as we started taking it out, we witnessed a female queen bumblebee had already started going into dormancy for the fall. So we gently put her back in the ground, and the client went, "Oh no!" And so if you do have a section of your garden that is a deep shade in the back kind of place, let the woodland knotweed stay there, because it's a great host plant.
No, woodland knotweed. We do have shade, yeah.
Great. So they also build all these organisms all these plants help to build healthy living soils too. All right, we're grooving now. So native plants help to control erosion and the puddling of water. This is an example of a rain garden ponding area that was set up to take in water from the rooftop. You can see coming down the chain there. And basically, it's really cool. If the water stays there, is infiltrated by the plants now. And this is the garden today. There's a grassy area, and you can actually see one of our new feature plants. If you have sandy soils, this wonderful pink kind of grass here is the purple love grass. And we also have Bouteloua in here, and but that's the seed head of the purple love grass. So, and this was the whole rain garden, and rarely do you see any water standing in there because the plants just take good care of it. Here's another example of how to move water away from the foundation. You can do like a dry riverbed and then put your rain garden out front. And this also, you can lead with grading the water away from your foundation, and everything's golden. It's year-round beauty. Less maintenance is needed for native plants, less fertilizers and chemicals. Native plants are adapted for this region. This is a great example of the interaction between all the different plants. And many of these plants are available in our sale. We have echinacea here. We have the black-eyed Susan. We have the blue lobelia. Here we have a baptisia, or otherwise known as wild indigo, wild blue indigo. And then here we have some Laetris, which actually is a new one on our list this year. That's the Laetris aspera. And then we have also the Joe Pyeweed in our regular stock. So new additions. So within the ground covers and the low ground, oh, I thought it was supposed to be low ground covers, but anyway, sorry about that. Within the ground covers, we added this year the purple lovegrass, and here's an example of it interplanted as well within a bed. And this is what it looks like before it flowers. Yes, here it is before it flowers, and here we have.
To be honest.
I'm sorry.
Well, you're supposed to listen to something?
Could you please mute your
Mute. Mute
mic?
your ass.
Could you shut up?
Yeah.
Hello, can you please mute your mic, please? Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so yeah, so the purple lovegrass, as I was saying earlier, if you don't have sandy soils or very porous soils that are draining well, you don't want to plant this in clay. This plant will not be happy in clay. So that's the one thing that is
That would be us.
bad for some people. And then yeah, so we have that.
That's a ground cover. Probably wouldn't plant that. You know, but.
Is there a way that we can
Gina, the person that under Gina, could you mute? We can hear what you're saying. So
Gina, that's us. Okay.
Okay, sweet. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, so that was the new addition to the ground covers. And also, unfortunately, we lost in the inventory more of the oh, goodness me. Okay. More of the ephemerals because the growers decided to quit growing them. But within our multi-purpose wet or average native garden, so these plants could all go in those rain gardening areas. The Scutellaria is one of our new wonderful plants. We also have, let me see, the Laetris aspera. So it's a new one. I got to make sure. Ooh, we got it. Yeah. Maybe it's not in this one. Okay. So that's that one. So here we go, the blue skullcap. It has a wonderful presence in the garden. It comes in late summer in August. And the one bonus that I found with this beautiful plant, it does like to hop around in the garden. So put it in an area where if you don't want to manage it too much, it can just kind of sprawl about. Otherwise, you're going to want to do a little bit of weeding. It is in the mint family, but it doesn't spread rhizomatically by the roots, but rather by the seed. And so you just want to do a little bit of weeding in the spring to get rid of it. So you just notice where you have your marked plants and pay attention to the leaf shapes if you do want to change it out. I mean, if you want to edit it out. So one of the things that's wonderful about this plant is not only its color, it's also used as an herbal medicinal plant. It can help if you have problems sleeping at night. And it does attract even more than just butterflies and bees, as I will show you in this next video. Here we have, yeah, this is just a wonderful plant. Okay, you can do it. Come on. Ah. There we go. All right. So this is what we've got. We had a resident female hummingbird.
She's going for some water. Oh, she's a beauty. Look at her go. She's taking a rest. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was amazing. So the ruby-throated hummingbird also likes another plant in our group. We've got the red lobelia they love, and they love also the Selene regia, which is another new one that we have. So there's that one. So here we have the royal catchflyer, Selene regia. We've got the Liatris aspera, which is the button blazing star. We have also, although this is a shrub, it is being sold as a plug. So you're going to have to nurse it for a few years with rabbit cages to make sure it can grow nice and big and strong. But look at that mature shrub. It's a beauty. And I highly recommend this Hypericum. You need a lot of sunshine for them, but it's a really lovely plant. So let's look a little more closely at that plant. Oh, yeah. Also, just a note, the pale purple coneflower, if you do purchase that one, it does tend to get taller and leggier. So you want to make sure that it's growing with other taller plants around it too, to give it some support. You can also have the agastache grow with it, because that's another taller plant. Sorry, guys.
While we're waiting for the delay, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat that we could answer, but we can wait till the end now that it's not delayed.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that was the royal catchfly. This can be a short-lived perennial, but it does seed out. So it'll be around for a few years, but sometimes it disappears then. But it can seed in and start growing if it really likes the area it's in. The soil type is, again, we like sandy and gravelly kind of beds. And we put more of these in for our region because we do have quite a large expanse of properties in Evanston that have very sandy soils. So it's a full sun to part shade. So part shade being just like 2 to 3 hours a day. So it's a pretty unique plant and adaptable in that way. All right, here's the button blazing star. This is one thing about all of the liatrices is I've found that it really pays to stake them. You get to really enjoy them because in nature they would have a propensity then to kind of fall to the side if they are not supported by plants around them. But it's very simple. I just use sticks sometimes with a little bit of twine. The button blazing star is eye-catching and making it low maintenance. It thrives in the well-drained soils. It can, again, it prefers sandier soils and it likes full sun. And it definitely gets taller than 1.5 feet. It can be up to 2 or 3 feet tall if it's happy where it is. And it does attract pollinators as well. Okay, so here we are with the St. John's wort. You can see it in its sort of, this is almost a mature specimen. And it goes very nicely in gardens with the echinacea. We also have the caloroe in here, and that works well. The caloroe I've found is loved by the rabbits, but if you grow enough plants around it, the rabbits don't get to it. So that's really a good thing to pay attention to as well. So it's worth it to do the rabbit caging until the plants are mature, and then they do fine. There's no problem. Okay. Oh, let me see. Other points about this plant is it can be in loamier soils. So if you have a clay that has not been damaged a lot and has good organic matter in it, this shrub will do fine there too. Although it does prefer sandy prairies and such. Yeah, so it's good to see too that as a companion plant, it really likes Coreopsis, which is another one we have for sale, and it grows in the wild with the Schizachyrium scoporium, which is the little blue stem. And don't let your farm animals with white fur too close to it. All right, so here we have the shade garden. All right, you guys asked for it, so we did our best to up the amount of shade plants we had available this year. So we added 4 new plants. We have the heartleaf foamflower, which is a really lovely plant. Stone crop, sedum ternatum. I know a lot of people think sedums need a lot of sun, but our native wild stone crop actually is a part shade to it even can do well in shade plant. Then the dwarf crested iris is a lovely edger for the gardens, and then has those beautiful purple flowers during the iris blooming season. And then we've got the jack in the pulpit, which is a real delight for kids. I remember when I was a little kid, we had one of those, and I just used to love to go look for the jack in the pulpit. And then we have a lot, we double ordered up on some of these plants. And the wild blue indigo is not totally shade, it's more like part sun. So you wouldn't want to put that one in the deep shade. But this, the spikenard goes into deep shade brilliantly. And although it is a perennial, it does do a nice job of filling space. They get up to 3.5 feet like wide, and they don't get that terrible, they get about 3 feet tall too. So it's a really fun plant to put in. Okay, next. So here's our foam flower. You can see they're really lovely. They get they have a nice leaf cover, and you can interplant them with other plants that are more coming and going. The geraniums, they're found within nature, and here you can also see them growing well with calyxes. We've got that lovely strappy plantagenea, which is the plantain sedge, that would work really nicely with it too. And it can go to full shade, but I found that it does prefer to have a little bit of sunshine, and it does like the soils to stay sort of moist. So you don't want to put it in a real dry shade area, but it really does a beautiful job and will even spread a little bit and become a ground cover if you take good care of it. Here's that stone crop that we were talking about, and it also works well as sort of a green mulch between things. This is also another carex, I think, James sedge, and it's really lovely. It's one of the earlier spring flowering plants, so it helps the pollinators who are first coming up, and you can put them in all kinds of little places. Sort of as an understory plant in little rock gardens. Yeah, it's a good worker bee, and it's drought tolerant. And yeah, the thing it does sort of die back a little bit in the winter, and then it always surprises you in the spring when it comes back up again. Here we have the dwarf crested iris, which I love. Isn't that flower just divine? Nature has like given us some wonderful gifts, and the thing about this plant is it's a great edging plant because it still has that strappy feel to it. So if you want a little more formal garden, it's kind of a nice way to sort of make it more formal, having this along the edge. And yeah, it's a great plant, and it can be on the edge of your rain gardens. Yeah, it's very low maintenance, and it does beef up too, and you can divide it and move it around the garden a little bit too. And then here's that lovely Jack in the Pulpit. You can see it here growing in nature with wild geranium. So we have some of that for sale as well. And it does also well with the waterleaf, Virginia waterleaf. Those are both for sale. And it's just a charming plant. And the red berries come up in late summer. And some birds like to eat those in the fall. Yeah. So adding these is a great garden's wildlife appeal. And I don't know, it's just a charmer. They can get pretty tall if they're really happy. They can go taller than 2 feet after they've flowered. So that's another thing. It has an interesting leaf, but you want to interplant it with some other things because it gets leggy once it goes to berry form. All right. Then the rest of the things that we have available are all our shrubs, right? And one of the things that we need to understand is we can also benefit from the food that these plants create for us. Probably most apparently is the service berries that we sell. Then let me see, service berry. Where did that go? Yeah, they're down here. Yeah. The service berries, we've got the elderberries, which are really tasty treats, and you can make juice out of those as well as elderberry wine, of course, if you're ambitious. And if you get, once the currants, the American currants and the gooseberries get more mature, you can actually get a few currants or gooseberries off of them. Gooseberry, the wild gooseberry is really good if you want to have a little bit of a barrier It's a good substitute for barberry for people who like that plant. So we continue to highlight plants that support the endangered rusty patch bumblebee as well. And I think everybody's aware that these pollinators were once common everywhere. And we do have remaining populations in Evanston and in the region. So we have opportunities to take care of them. We do have to also encourage all our friends to not use pesticides and do what we can to support these lovely bees. They're very dependent on particular plants, and we have several of these in our sale. We have the wild geranium, we've got the Virginia waterleaf, we've got the echinacea, we've got bee balm, we have milkweeds, goldenrod. The shady one especially is really nice, the blue stem. And we've got an aster, the Ceraceum, and the white turtlehead. So all these things will help support our native bee population, in addition to the particular specialist, which is the rusty patch bumblebee. So anyways, ways you can support them, of course, is plant native plants, document if you see them, and share them. Growing host plants and plants labeled RPBB at the sale will help you do that. And last year at the plant sale, oh, there you are, Roger. We did our first year of actually sorting the plant orders ahead of time. And this definitely takes more labor. It's more labor intensive, but it was a very smooth handoff and everybody appreciated it. And we had a good time. And we want to encourage anyone who wants to join us. It's a 3-day extravaganza before the sale date. We have on Thursday, we get the first shipment from one of our growers, and then on Friday we get the shrubs and the rest of them in, and we get them all tagged up. And on Friday afternoon we start sorting, and we finish up the sorting on Saturday morning. And at 12:30 we start distribution, and everybody gets to plant native. So there you go. And I'm now open for questions.
There was one in the chat that was, what is the purpose of ground cover plants and how do they interact in gardens?
A wonderful thing about ground cover plants is they can be a green mulch. So for certain areas where you might have a problem growing things and you find the right plant for that area, it does a great job of filling in those areas too. So ground covers, the green mulch is like my favorite aspect of ground covers. And another positive for planting more than 3 plants of any kind of plant is when you hit about a 3 square foot area of a plant, when it's blooming, it's more easily farmed by the pollinators. So when the bees go in to get their food, they don't have to go searching, because they do tend to prefer doing one plant at a time. So that's another advantage about doing some of these ground covers. And the date of the plant pickup is, are you ready? June 1st at the Morton Civic Center. It's 12:30 to 4:30. I apologize. Oh, anyways, we went out of that. Let me go back in. So yeah, it's 12:30 to 4:30. Thanks for putting that up in the Okay, so how does one make a rabbit cage? Good question, Susan. You can use chicken wire is one easy way to do it. Another way, let me see, I think we even have a picture of that kind of caging in this one. Wait. Woo. Anyways, yeah, so you just put it around and you get some of the metal staples that you can put into fabric, but you use that to secure them, to make sure that the rabbits don't get under them. You can also buy them online. There's very attractive ones you can find. There's all kinds of different ways. I had one client that bought a really beautiful one that was made of wood and went around and sold it folded and had like a architectural shape to it. You can also use the plastic coated wire that's easier on your hands if you want to spend a little bit more money. So you can always look up. The trick is you want the fence to be about 2 feet high because rabbits can get over 2 feet pretty quickly. So that'll make it more useful for them.
You can use tomato cages as a frame and then put the chicken wire or whatever else around it, and that the tomato cages are already stable because you can put them so securely in the ground.
That's great, Marty. Thank you for that recommendation. I like that idea. I'll check it out this year. Yeah, any other questions? The next time that we do the sale, the next presentation we do is going to talk more in depth about the sale and interactions between plants and stuff. So yeah, let your friends know if they need any help navigating. One of the other things I just wanted to point out, let me get this back up so you see the whole slideshow. There you go. That when you go online, when you want to order up your plants, you can see if you are a member of the Evanston Environmental Association, you get $1 off on each plant. Also, you can see that all the criteria or vital information, a lot of vital information is there. So yeah, any other questions? Oh, thank you, Ashley. She put the plant sale Zoom link up in the chat. So how does one volunteer for the plant? Oh, excellent. Bridget, you can I'll put in the chat my email at the Evanston Environmental Association, and we will gladly have you.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you, Marty.
It really is fun. And you feel tired at the end, like you need a nice cup of tea, but you meet old friends and make new friends there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it really is. Roger was in the action last year, and yeah, it just is camaraderie, and people also take the time to talk a little bit about plants, so you get to know a little more about the plants, and it's just it's building the community. When we plant native plants, we build native plant communities. When we help the plant sale, we build our community with the plants, and that's a really lovely thing because we can't live without plants, and plants can't live without us the way we're going now. I mean, they can live without us. I mean, if we go away, they'll probably have a much easier time of it. But yeah. So are any other good questions for anybody? The link for the plant sale is now live. So if you want to go buy some of your plants, go get them. And you'll notice that the plant prices are different on some of the plants. They're more expensive because it's harder for the growers to grow them. So we had to make sure that we had the proper upgrade in the pricing so that we earn the money we need too, because this is a fundraiser additionally. Any plants that are left over at the end of the sale get donated and actively planted by several of our regional here in Evanston native garden places. So like by the Ecology Center in the Morton Arbor, in the not Morton Arboretum, in the Arboretum there. Also Harvard Park, the Bird Sanctuary got some extra plants last year. So what we're all about sharing whatever's left over gets a home, and that's a wonderful thing. And yeah, and tell your neighbors, like, let's see how many yards we can get growing native plants. There's a wonderful movement by this guy named Doug Tallamy called Nature's Best Hope, and he started a movement called Homegrown National Parks. And if we all would just have a certain percentage, I like 70% of native plants on our properties, we'd have such an alive and thriving community here of plants. And I can't tell you guys, people walk past my yard all the time and they'll just stop unconsciously and have conversations there because they just they feel, I don't know, like there's something else there with them, you know?
It's a little bit like, but so we live on Grant Street.
Uh-huh.
I have a super wild garden that's so wild that I often get tags on the door requesting or wondering whether I wanted help with my lawn. Anyway, um, but school kids walk past my house on the way to Kingsley and Haven, and the most exciting part is, especially in the spring and already this time of year, little kids, because they're closer down, they can really see even the tiniest of wildflowers. And I have had children who are now at Haven or even at the high school come by and tell me that since they were little, very young, they liked coming by the garden and seeing the same things because the wild things return year after year unless we do something to them. So it's kind of like being the grandma of the grandma's garden that those kids' grandmas don't have.
Oh, I love it.
It's really nice. I mean, that's how I feel about the wildflowers. They go back generations, and I think that people who live in a neighborhood for any long period of time, they have that expectation of what's going to bloom when.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and that's another great point, Marty, is that with native plants, they're not constantly flowering. It's not like this false. It's like nature is in sync with the timing of how these things flower, and that you get that sense of the passage of time is so beautiful. It's not the same old and one static thing that you're looking at. Okay, it's pretty, but this has a dynamic beauty to it, the way that nature grows. And thanks for saying that, Marty. That was great. Any other questions? Okay, I put my email in to sign up for volunteering. I said contact the email I put in here. So yeah, I'm really grateful for everyone who came tonight. And seriously, no one has any questions or about their own yards or how they can use any of these things in their.
Oh, Julia,
Yeah.
The next one, you're gonna be talking about, using the plants in your, gardens, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yes, we will. Yeah, it'll be, I think, it'll be a little more varied. But we just wanted to get a hello, and who wants to volunteer? Get it going. Yeah, and I'm so grateful to all the people who have helped this sale work. This is year 4, and it just keeps getting better. And it's only better because of other people. You know, one person cannot do this. You know, it's a community thing, and it's very exciting to just see all these blooms coming forward, and my cat agrees. So thanks, everybody, and let your friends know. It will be a little more informative talk next time. We just had to get this rolling, and we wanted to make sure everybody knew that the sale's on. So tell your friends, get in there and buy their plants. They're available. And we have more shade plants and more of them. So we really upped the quantities for the shade plants as well.
You could put something up at the libraries.
That's a great idea, Marty.
I mean, both at Robert Crown and Maine, because they have been doing more garden stuff in recent,
Excellent.
and they support Evanston projects.
Yes, for sure, for sure. We'll do that. Thank you for the recommendation.
Thanks, Julia. We'll, see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Be well.
Thank you.
Rachel, you were so quiet tonight.